Hello and welcome to episode 105 of the Yarnivore podcast. I am Sadie. I am your hostess. I am late and I know this. So it goes. I have been to Canada and back. I got no yarn in Canada. I did get some yarn here, so there will be some haul in the end. However, yeah, that's where we're at. Canada was fun. I got up to pretty much just hanging out with the family and laying around and sleeping. Or not sleeping, as the case may be. Hung out a lot with my mom, which was really good. Enjoyed that. And didn't get a whole lot of knitting done, actually. Don't have much to report from Canada in terms of knitting. I suck. It's okay. I will start off with finished objects, and the one thing I have finished, which is actually a pair of things, is the Yarnivore number 13 mittens from Selboudivar, Biography of a Knitting Tradition by Terry Shea, and these are for my husband. They are not yet blocked. They don't need a lot of blocking, but a little blocking would be nice, and that is what the one side looks like. And this is what the other side looks like, and they have patterned thumbs. I told him, you know it's love when I do patterned thumbs, because I hate doing patterned thumbs. They're my least favorite part. I don't mind if they're striping or something, but seriously, that's some intense thumb work. Just saying. But yes. And so the yarns used were the Gray Havens, which is Knitter's Nightmare on the giant sock base, which is 100% superwash merino, and the darker plummish color, plummish, is Black Plum by Sweet Georgia Yarns. It's the Tough Love sock, which is an 80/20 superwash merino nylon blend. And yes, I am enjoying colorwork mittens, and I will probably knit several more because they're small, portable, easy, and yeah. I will stock up for Saskatchewan because it will be cold there. There's that side, and there's that side. And I have to say, I found the weather quite lovely because I think it snowed the last day I was there. It started snowing. And let me just say, I run really warm right now, so it was perfect for me. It was hoodie weather as far as I was concerned. Mom was a little worried. She kept telling me to get a jacket. And this is the book, just to show you one more time, that those mittens came out of. There are a ton of patterns in here. It is totally worth picking up. It's got some history, some background. All of the mittens that are in here come from different collections. And yeah, I just really enjoyed it. And she's from Seattle, so there you go. Selboudivar by Terry Shea. I forget where I picked it up from, but I know I did. That's my finished object for you. Moving on to things I have worked on. I have my spare yarn in my bird leg bags. This is bird leg bags, right? There's no indicator. Yes, there is. It's bird leg bags. And she has stopped producing things, so I am sorry, but I love this bag. It's not going away. I have the Cozy Neighborhood by Joji Locatelli. It looks a little something like this in the pattern. And, yeah. I don't need this anymore, I don't think. Do I? Do I? Do I? Directions for the front, directions for the back. Yeah, no, I don't. That can be recycled. Okay. So, this is for the Joji Fall Cow. I signed up for 2 different sweaters, but if I get one done, I'll consider it a win. I am using, I did put these in here. I knew I brought this for a reason. The BFL Sport 100 Blue-Faced Leicestershire hand-painted fiber by Blue Moon Fiber Arts in the Haida colorway. It's not superwash. Oh well. I have 3 skeins of this, which is supposed to be enough. I'll do the sleeves in tandem just so in case I run out, I'm safe. So I have 2 skeins caked and ready to go in there. But I'm actually using my yarn bowl from my hubby for keeping the skein I'm working with now and the body basically as I work with it. And okay, I need to do that row. I usually try to do them in 2 rows at a time because then I don't get so confused. I am knitting on a high sharp US 7 4.5 millimeter needle, and the last time you saw it, I don't think I had joined yet, or I was just getting ready to join. So here we have the front, and I separated out the sleeves here. The cable for the needle is actually relatively not large, so it does bunch, but I have done about this much. I need 18 inches from the bottom of the sleeve. So I got a while to go now. However, the front is done, the back is done, all the shoulder shaping, they're all together. So the back, you just have the box, waffle, whatever you want to call it. And the front, you have the box waffle. And then you have the cable running down the front. And this is actually showing up pretty true to color. It's a blacky blue. It's part of the Raven series, where it's like a color and then they over dye it with black. And so I think this one is shades of blues. And this is how much I have left of my first skein. The skeins are over 600 yards a piece. Mouse! No! I had yarn trained cats at one point, now I don't. And so that is coming along. Like I said, I like to do it, I like to work 2 rows at a time because that usually finishes off a set in my head. In my head it makes sense. And because of all the music I've been listening to, as soon as I said that, I immediately thought of Lorde and the song Supercut. So there you have it. I'm prone to tangents and going sideways. It's how I roll right now. Then in a fat leg squirrel. Fat squirrel bag. Okay, in a fat squirrel sock bag, I took this one with me on the plane. It is Knitter's Nightmare Baddie sock in the radioactive colorway. And I am knitting 2 at a time socks. I printed off the pattern this way and that way by Mina Phillips. I have the collection, I think it's Beyond Vanilla or whatever. I just wanted something simple. And this is pretty darn simple. And I remembered I don't do 2 at a time very often. I did finish the ribbing before I left. I'm using a US 1 2.25 millimeter needle. I'm using Caspians. Yes, Caspians from Knit Picks. I like the Caspians. And this is how far I got. I ended up reading more on the plane than I did. So the slip stitches move in a zigzag all the way down the sock, and that is basically your pattern. And you only do it on one side. The other side is plain. I do like how the colorway is knitting up. I am going to dye some more of this probably next week. This week is super busy for me. But it's coming out pretty good, I think. What do you think? And yeah, I know my hands are thrashed. It's dry in Saskatchewan, and it's... I got a nosebleed, and on the way there I had to stop over in Calgary, on the way back I had to stop over in Edmonton, and in Calgary I got a nosebleed. And then I had a couple when I was in Saskatchewan, and then as soon as I stepped off the plane here at SeaTac and got like through the airport, I was like, let me tell you something. You get really used to living by water, and it's just so much more beneficial for you. So that's where I'm at with these, but they will be sidetracked because that was basically what I was working on at the end of September, because I was waiting for October, because the Desert Vista Dye Works Sock Club is an obsession of mine. I'm not going to do it next year. I've decided that I'm going to have a baby, and that's just too much. So I'm going to finish up this year. But Susan, who is Desert Vista Dye Works, posted a thing about how the numbers keep dropping, you know, because people drop off every month as they don't complete. And I was like, okay, so there's like 80-some people. It's still a lot of people who have managed this. Like, this is no small feat, people. And so I'm on my October socks. I am using the Age of Ultron. And this has just, I've taken this to coffee. I've taken this to appointments. So this is like a little beat up. But it's Age of Ultron, self striping in the Viso base, which is 7525 Superwash Merino Nylon. And looks like this in the skein, or in the ball. Looks like this in the ball. I'm doing these for my husband because my husband needs socks. Because I've knit my mom a pair, and I've knit many pairs for myself, so it's his turn. And I'm using US 1.5, which is a 2.5 millimeter needle, because 64 stitches on 2.5s gives me what I need. If I was using a US 1 or a 2.25, I'd have to go up to 72, I think. And I didn't feel like it. So these work, they fit him, it's all good. So here we have the cuff, and I did the heel the other day. This is Fish Lips Kiss heel. He's never had a Fish Lips Kiss heel. Usually I do afterthoughts for him, so we're trying this one out to see if he likes it more or less. And I'm onto the foot, which will take me approximately forever because he has big feet. Which is also why I didn't do too long of a leg. It's about, I'm gonna say 6 inches, probably. 6 inches for the leg, and then we have the heel. I had him try it on. It's okay. I'm using Chagus, and yeah. I'll get these done October. Then I'll only have 2 pairs to go. Hi, mouse. You did not see the mouse just scale the wall there, but you might see a tail. There are birdies out in the neighbor's tree, and that is very entertaining in Mouseland. And this is in my Seashore Sharon Batty bag, which is perfect for socks. It really is. It's perfect for sock. And my Desert Vistas fit in there really nice. I also have a puppy bag, which I might switch to in November or December. I don't know. I think bats are all seasons. The other thing I took with me to Canada that has seen some work in my Tangerines Design Super 80s bag, totally 80s. I have my Piece de Resistance mittens by Bristol Ivy. Pattern looks like this. Resistance is not futile. Ha 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 ha. I know it feels futile right now. I feel pretty futile right now. I bet the ovaries are futile right now. So I'm not sure where I had shown you this mitt, but I finished it. I finished the first mitt. It is done. It is gorgeous. It just needs a thumb. And this is the kind of like colorwork thumb I can deal with, and I would like to point out that I did invert the colors by accident. My friend Julie pointed that out to me. She asked me if I did, and I was like, oh yeah, I did. So there you have it, inverted thumb color. I'm fine with it. It looks good, whatever. And so there's the first one. The second one, which I had not started, these are in US 1 2.25 millimeter needles, because that's how I roll. I almost always use them unless it's for my husband's socks. Or the Cell Boudivar mittens I also knit on 2.5s, or no, 1.5, which is a 2.5 millimeter needle, to make it size it up for his hands. So I have just started the color work at this point on this one. The ribbing took for what felt like ever. And yeah, that would be the plane ride from Edmonton to Seattle, about halfway, and then I gave up and started reading a book. Book 9 of the Wheel of Time series, which is called Winter's Heart, Winter's Dream, Winter's Heart, something like that. Either way, that's the one I started. Working my way through that series. And I am using, for the light green, Key Lime Martini by Two Guys Yarn Company. There we go. Which is 80% superwash BFL, 20% nylon. And it's the standard and sock. And my ears are super itchy. Thank you, allergies. I love you too. And then for the darker color, I am using this, which is Alchemy Yarn of Transformation Juniper, which I believe is the base, which is 100% super fine merino. So these will not go in the washing machine. And this is the Rainforest colorway. My husband got it for me. And I might have a spare skein. I might, because he got me 2 skeins so I can make something. And I have not even bit into the second skein. I'm just going to put it up here because I probably don't need it. I have a fair bit left to go. And I'm finding that you don't need as much when you're making a pair of mittens because you're color working them. So there's that. And there's another pair of colorwork mittens I want to make that I'm probably going to do gray and Haunted Farm. And they are pretty epic. I'm almost positive I showed you. I'm not sure. Let me put this up here. I've got so much stuff going on up here. It's kind of like, where did I put everything? I thought I put it up here. I have patterns. I have more patterns. Yes, I did. It's under everything. I'm going to do the Gundren mittens once I finish these ones, I think. And calls for a 2.5 millimeter. But the size is adjustable using different mittens. Or different needles. This is based on this is a paid for pattern, so based on the stitch count, oh yeah, based on the stitch count, I will be using a US 1 2.25 millimeter needle. It's by Maria Larkang. Got it on Ravelry, also known as Asphalt's Flicken Design. Let's fold this up so you can see it. I think that's pretty awesome, and I will be making these, and I will be making these out of, I already picked the colors. We'll be making them out of leftover Grey Havens from hubby's mittens, and I will be doing it with this, which is the Haunted Farm Knitter's Nightmare Batty Sock, and yeah. Or no, this one's not Batty Sock. This one is Skeleton 2.0, which is non-superwash, which is fine for mittens because I hand wash them anyway. But I think those two will really go well together and will go well thematically, I think. I'm the only one that counts, right? And then I've got the kids stuff I want to cast on. Like, there's so many things I want to cast on. Oh my goodness. I'm trying so hard not to cast on the things. All the things. Are you like me? Are you trying really hard not to cast on all the things? Because I look at my bag of things that are already cast on. Not the bag. I have a basket. I have a wire basket. I throw all my whips in. And I actually went through and pulled out the ones where I was like, no, these are not getting done while I'm pregnant because I'm not knitting a sweater that's going to fit me in 2 years. I can do that next year. Work on that next year. I've got some pregnancy sweaters and stuff I want to do now. And there's too many of them. I did frog the one, and I have like prioritized things. But again, the cast on urge is so strong, and I've got 2 socks and mittens and like 3 sweaters. That's not even... Yeah. Just saying, I don't need to cast on more. I say that. Watch next week, there will be more cast on. Oh, and that's not even counting the blanket I want to finish for the little one. So yeah, that's where I'm at with the things I have cast on. Now my little bit of haul. It's not a lot of haul. It's a little bit of haul. Just a teeny bit. I had an appointment nearby a yarn store in Silverdale. Yes, it's in Silverdale. And it's called Knit 2 Together. It has weird hours, but again, I had an appointment nearby, so why not? And I went in and I bought some wool wash because I needed some, and then I picked up some more interchangeable needle cords because you never know. If I'm going to cast something on, I may as well use the needle tips I have or the needles I have. And so I got a 32 inch and a 40. 40 can be a bit much unless it's a sweater, I find. And then I picked this up and then I felt bad about picking it up, but then I was like, okay, whatever. Thanks, mouse. Please, quit dropping things. Hey, down. Mouse. 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 I don't plan to actively buy any more. For some reason, I forgot Heritage Prince is a Cascade yarn thing. But I like the colors. It was 13 bucks, so I picked it up. And I honestly don't buy a lot of Cascade in general. So, yeah. I'll make socks. I will enjoy the socks, but I will probably not buy any more. And if you want to know the whole scandal with Cascade, you can just Google it or something, because I'm not getting into it here. And the other thing I picked up is from Bigfoot Yarn Company. It's the Freak Show colorway on 75/25 Superwash Merino Nylon. It's a fingering weight, and so this is a local indie dyer, and I love the name, I love the colors, I love the colorway. So yeah, loved it. It spoke to me, so I had to pick it up. There's a lot going on in here, and I love this blue. I love, like, this color wheel right here is kind of why I bought it, because that's awesome. So those are the skeins I picked up. Because I'm going through the Tracy method of if I have appointments, then I deserve yarn. Right? 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 That was a really busy day too. Okay, now I have some sewing. I have some sewing and I have some sewing haul. So if sewing does not interest you, I have absolutely no problems with you saying goodbye to me right now. And I will see you again probably in 2 weeks. Maybe a little less, because I'm going to still try to go back to Fridays. However, if you like sewing, stick around and see what I've been up to. I finally got around to making this, which is a butterick pattern that I picked up a while ago at a Joann sale. And I think this is the medium. It's supposed to be like for 6 months, but it's clearly a little bit bigger. Whatever. I ended up having to wait a bit to do it because I had to pick up the ribbing for the neck. And I ended up buying way more than I will ever need for just one sweater, so I can make many sweaters. I used the serger for this and just serged all the seams. It called for French seams on the shoulders, and I was like, I don't care enough. So it's all just serged together on the inside. I've got a couple of seams that need to be sewn in. I am going to twin needle the hems, and yeah. I got this piece of fabric, which is a cotton jersey. It was in a remnants bin. I think it was 0.7 of a yard, And there's enough left over for me to cut out a second one, but I can't find where I put the leftovers after I cut this one out. But yeah, it just needs to be hemmed. I'm trying to get all my serging done before I switch it out, because I put them on the kitchen table, and yeah, I don't have them both out at the regular sewing machine and the serger. I don't have them both out at the same time, but that one's ready to go, so it will go on the pile of things that need regular sewing, which includes a bunch of receiving blankets that are done that just need to have the hems. And I finished all the washcloths. I do need to make more reusable boob pads, but yeah, we're getting there. We're getting there. And so there was a sale at Joann's, which is very dangerous to me. And I went, and I bought a bunch of stuff, which I will now show you. I won't show you the patterns though. I bought 6 or 7 patterns. A couple for myself for when I'm back to a normal size, because the simplicity patterns were on for $1.99, so I just went hog wild with the limit of 10. And then I got a doggy coat for Sassy. I got a Halloween costumes for kids. I got 2 baby ones, and then I got a handful of ones for me. And then I bought fabric. So the first thing I picked up, hubby pointed this out, probably going to make a jacket or a bunting bag out of it. And it is fleece, and it is Pikachu with pumpkins. Okay, it's adorable. There's no way around it. It's stinking adorable. And so I picked up enough. I have a pattern for a cute little jacket that I will either do... I'm waffling on sizes. I don't know how big he's going to be when he comes out. So I'll either do 1 to 3 months and he can use it right when he comes out, or I'll do maybe a year-old, and so he can use it for his first winter. Because at 6 months, that's going to be like in the dead of summer. No one needs fleece in the dead of summer. That, and if I do the jacket rather than the bunting bag, I'm going to try and fussy cut it so that this is like the back. If I do the bunting bag, I'll probably do it for small size. Blah, 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 blah. Picked up a yard of this because I needed it personally, and I will probably make some t-shirts, and then once I've made a t-shirt for myself, I can make a t-shirt for the kiddo. Maybe some pants. Maybe a overall kind of deal. Not 100% sure, but I love this. And I ended up getting the end of the bolt, so it was half price off that. So it was dirt cheap. Dirt cheap. Yeah. And it's a cotton jersey. And I have washed these. These all just came out of the dryer, so they've all been pre-shrunk now. This one has not been washed, but that's fine. I ordered this one online because this is really hard to find, and I'm going to make a quilt for the bubber out of it, and it is Pokemon. And it is all the original Pokemon. And it is a panel. The panel is not a full yard, or is it a yard? I think it's close. I actually ordered 2, and the company only sent me 1. They messed up, and I messaged them, and I was like, you only sent me 1. I paid for 2. So they're sending me out a second one, and I want one, I want a spare, because this particular pattern, which is part of the Robert Kaufman patterns, this one gets sold out really quickly. It can get really hard to find. And so my intention is that I'm going to, and then, okay. So the story is that I saw a quilt on Facebook that had all of the original ones, but someone had actually taken the time to make the applique for it, and that was just too much, which is why I hunted down this fabric and found that somewhere had it. And I am using this, which I got 2 yards of, to do a border. So I will do a border around these guys. This one is cut. I'm going to see if the next one is cut a little better, because this one they cut really close to the white, and I wanted to, although I might be able to just serge it and like stitch it really close. But hopefully they get it. And so I'm going to do a border of this so that it goes from white to this. She'll also have to fuzzy cut because it's all directional. I'm clearly asking for it, right? And so this will be the border. Just do like a cut, like maybe cut it so that you get a Pikachu and a ball going down the side and a Pikachu ball across the top. That would be cool. And then this will also be the backing. And then I will quilt between the blue, running up and down. That's where I'll quilt. And it'll be a super simple quilt, but I think it will be well loved, which is also why I want a spare panel. Because let me tell you, I watched my nieces and my nephew beat the crap out of some of their blankets, and then they'd go to my mom, Nanny, and get her to fix them. At one point, my oldest niece had a blanket. It was crocheted, and she always stuck her toes through the holes in the crochet, like, you know, it was a feather and fan. And she tore that thing to shreds, to the point that my mom had to recrochet basically the entirety of the inside, and she couldn't find the color anymore. So now there's like this major patch in the middle where it's just crocheted in a completely different color. And she was like, I'm not fixing this again. You quit. Treat your blanket better. So if this thing goes through the wash a million times and falls apart, I will have a spare. I also picked up some of this because it's adorable. It's adorable. And this is the cotton jersey, stretch cotton, whatever you want to call it. And I think I will make some tops and some pants out of it because it's adorable. And I can do that. I picked up some sweat material. It's just basic sweat pant material, like the nice fluffy insides, to make a couple sweats. I noticed that personally, we were spoiled in Canada. We got tons of clothing. Like, I don't think we'll need clothes, actual like baby clothes. Like, we've got a lot of clothes. However, those clothes, there's a lot of onesies. And I know you throw a onesie on and then you throw on some pants and you throw on a jacket and you go. Like, I get this. And I get that you go through a million onesies, so I'm not complaining about the amount of onesies I have, which are all adorable, and I will use them all. But I do know that I am short on pants, so I'm going to make a bunch of sweatpants out of this. It's very plain, it's very boring, but it will be cozy. And so I will make a bunch of, like, probably not newborn. I get the feeling that if I do too many newborn things, he's going to be huge. So, plus they pop out and they're newborn for like 3 weeks anyway. So I'm going to do the 3 months, a couple 6 months, and then I'm going to jump to a year, I think. I'm just going to skip 9. But some of that. I picked up some of this. It is, it's cotton. It's quilting cotton, or whatever you want to call it. You know what I mean. It's the cotton. And it's adorable. And I got a yard of this, and I don't think I'm going to need a full yard, so I'm going to cut it in half and send half a yard to a friend of mine who I think will appreciate it. She knows who she is. I'm sure you'll see it again. It's adorable. It's Halloween sugar skulls, and it's Snoopy, and it's orange, so I know she'll really like it. And I'm not sure what I'm going to do with it, but a half a yard is more than enough if I want to make a t-shirt for the kiddo, or if I want to make, like, you know, something for the kiddo. So, and it was on sale, so pick that up. And the last thing I picked up, I intend to, apparently I'm making a bunch of quilts for the kid. He has no idea yet. Pick this up. and it's got different textures. Like this is flannel, this is the minky with the balls, and this is, I think, flannel. And they're different textures of flannel. And they're all serged together on the other side. But you buy it like this, so you don't have to cut and serge yourself. It's essentially a quilt with it without you making the top. It's a quilt top. And I picked this up because hubby and I figured it would be good for tummy time. So I am going to just get some batting, and I might go back and pick some of this up because apparently they had they had this and just the flannel, and I could pick that up and then I could do it on the back. I don't know. It depends. It depends on how I feel about it. Or if I'm just gonna go through stash and find something. But I'm gonna put batting in it, I'm gonna back it, and then I'm gonna quilt it. I will probably just roll the hem. I'll do a roll hem binding for it. I'm not gonna do any, like, I'm not sure if you've seen the rolled hem, but basically you cut your hem a little longer and you double fold and you sew that down. So you don't have binding, it's just your backing that you've sewn. And I think that'll work the best. But I have a nice piece. We got a meter, or a yard, sorry, we got a yard. And figured it'll be good for throwing down in the grass when we're out and about. Be good for tummy time. You get to fold it in half. It'll just be a decent thing to have around. So yeah, that's the plan for that. So basically I'm going to be sewing a lot. Because, yeah. But I have noticed that one of the things you can get when you're pregnant is carpal tunnel. And I seem to be starting to show signs of that. And so I can't knit as long or as much as I have been knitting, and I think that will see me do a lot more sewing and a lot more cross stitch, just because my hands are super sensitive. I did find that after one of the plane rides I had like shooting pains going up and down the side of my hand, mostly because of the ulnar nerve. So, and you know, it's one of those pregnancy things that I've read about, so if it's going to happen, it's going to happen. And I am prepared for it. It might slow down my knitting, but it won't slow down my crafting. And that is pretty much everything I have done and I have got, if you've hung in this long. I will see everybody again in another 2 weeks, and yeah, bye.